I'll have an opening, and then I'll look forward to your questions. I want to give you an update on where we're at on the budget. We, of course, we fought hard to ensure that in the budget there is some relief for Canadians. That relief includes the Renters Protection Fund to keep people in their homes, to keep them to prevent them from the fear of being rent-evicted or evicted out of their homes. So that Renters Protection Fund is crucial. We also fought to include a school food program that's going to help kids get a nutritious meal, as well as save money for parents who are wondering and worried about the cost of groceries. We also fought to ensure that there's free diabetes medication and devices for Canadians, as well as free birth control. Again, a cost savings measure, also improve access to important health services. All these things, Pierre Poilievre wants to take away from people. He's been very clear. He would take away pharmacare. He would take away diabetes medication and device coverage. He would take away birth control, which is not surprising because he also wants to take away dental care. He wants to cut and gut the services that people need. That's what Pierre Poilievre is all about. We also raised concerns, though, about things that were not adequate. We raised concerns about the disability benefit, how the amount was too little, not enough people were able to access it, and there's still real fears about the province clawing back an amount which is already too little. We also raised concerns about Indigenous services and a lack of justice for Indigenous people. One of the issues in particular that we raised was the fact that Jordan's principle is not being adhered to. Reports have come out, and the Jordan's principle, for folks should know what this is that if an Indigenous child needs care, that the care should be provided first, and then questions of jurisdiction should be worked out afterwards. And the federal government's commitment in this respect is to make sure there's a decision within 12 hours of a matter when it's raised. Well, they're not meeting that requirement. In fact, they're missing it 66% of the time. They're only actually satisfying it a third of the time, which is abysmal and very bad. And so we've raised those concerns. I raised those concerns with the Prime Minister, and my update today is that we've made some progress. There were some commitments that were provided. There are still some outstanding questions before we make our final determination on the budget, but there was progress made, and there were some commitments that were delivered on those concerns. Donc, aujourd'hui, je veux donner une mise à jour concernant notre positionnement sur le budget. En fait, on a dit qu'il y a des éléments dans le budget qu'on a forcé le gouvernement de mettre en œuvre, des éléments qui vont donner un coup de main aux gens. La protection, un fonds pour protéger les locataires, un programme pour nourrir les enfants à l'école et des médicaments gratuits, les contraceptifs gratuits et les médicaments pour les diabètes et aussi les appareils gratuits. Donc, ce sont des mesures qui vont enlever un peu de pression sur les épaules des gens, donner un coup de main. Il faut dire que toutes ces mesures sont des mesures que les conservateurs et Pierre Poilievre veulent éliminer. Il a dit ça clairement, il veut éliminer toutes cette aide et il est contre l'idée de donner des médicaments gratuits aux gens diabètes. Il est contre l'idée d'avoir des contraceptifs gratuits. Il est contre tout ça. Il veut couper les services dont vous avez besoin, en plus de tous ces éléments. Et j'ai aussi soulevé des inquiétudes. Le fait que le gouvernement libéral a donné une prestation, a annoncé une prestation pour les gens en situation de handicap avec un montant qui est trop petit, avec une couverture aussi trop petite et une menace que les gouvernements provinciaux veulent prendre une partie de ce montant. Aussi, on a soulevé le problème de justice pour la communauté autochtone. En particulier, on a soulevé le problème avec la mise en œuvre de le principe Jordan, le fait que le gouvernement libéral ou le gouvernement fédéral doit suivre les protocoles concernant ce principe, le fait que s'il y a une situation où un enfant autochtone a besoin d'aide, on doit donner l'aide premièrement et puis après régler la question de juridiction. Et en suivant ça, le gouvernement fédéral a un engagement de donner une réponse en 12 heures. Mais au lieu de ça, le gouvernement manque cette cible 66% de temps. Donc ça, c'est inacceptable. J'ai soulevé toutes ces inquiétudes directement avec le Premier ministre. J'ai eu des engagements. On a fait du progrès. Il y a des questions qui restent avant on se prononce, je me prononce sur le budget, mais on a fait du progrès. Merci. With that, I'm ready for any questions you might have.
Mr. Singh, media were told earlier today that you were going to stand here and tell us your definitive position on whether or not you were going to support the budget. Then we were told you weren't ready to make that decision. What happened today? Why was that switch up so rapid?
There are some outstanding elements that we're still waiting on. There were some commitments made, and I want to be very clear. I'm particularly concerned about the two elements that I raised just earlier, the disability benefit as well as Jordan's principle. On those two, there were some commitments made, but I want some more clarity around those commitments. Again, some progress has been made, but I wanted some more clarity before before we make our final decision clear.
What were those commitments? What were those commitments?
Without getting into the negotiations in public, I can say that there was some progress made, there were some positive steps, but there's additional elements that required clarification, and I need to hear that clarification before I can move forward.
Say, is it more money? Like, are the feds offering more money for this?
Well, what's clear to me, I can answer that directly. What's clear to me is that the federal government is not signaling an intention to increase the amount, so we're going to keep on fighting on that. Where more progress is being made is around ensuring that the clawback question is being addressed. So we're looking to see more commitments around that, and we're going to continue to fight back, though. We disagree with them strongly on the fact that the amount is so small and they're not seeming to move on that. We'll continue to fight back because we know the people in the disability community have raised this concern. I know the Liberals have heard those same concerns, so we'll continue to fight for a more fair amount. We're seeing some progress on the clawback question.
À quel point est-ce que vous êtes proche de mettre fin à ce présumé suspense? Est-ce qu'on est à deux doigts, là?
Honnêtement, pour moi, c'est une situation que je prends sérieusement, le fait qu'on a du pouvoir, on veut l'utiliser pour aider les gens, et on a fait beaucoup dans ce budget, et c'est clair qu'on a donné un coup de main aux gens avec les éléments importants, et on essaie de faire plus si on peut, et ça c'est pourquoi on continue de mettre la pression pour recevoir des engagements, et on va continuer de faire notre travail pour garantir qu'on obtient le mieux possible pour les gens.
C'est quoi concrètement que vous voulez, puis vous en êtes où justement par rapport à une décision?
Donc, j'ai donné, en anglais en fait, donc je vais le répéter en français. Donc, c'est particulièrement concernant deux inquiétudes. La prestation pour les gens en situation de handicap et pour le principe Jordan, ces deux éléments sont des enjeux où j'ai partagé mes inquiétudes. J'ai reçu des engagements, donc on a fait du progrès, mais il y a des questions qui restent.
What are your thoughts on BC wanting to change drug decriminalization?
What's clear to me is that BC has taken a position strongly in favor of making sure we address the harms that people are living with. I can tell you from my experience, I worked in criminal defense as a defense lawyer for a number of years, and I represented clients that were living with or struggling with addiction. I can tell you it did not help those people to arrest them, to bring them to a bail hearing, to put them through the criminal justice system, to sometimes jail them. That did not benefit those people, did not help them with their addiction, did not help them with their mental health concerns. And ultimately, I believe that all Canadians want to save people's lives. That's what we need to do. All the evidence, including from law enforcement and other health experts, is that we've got to keep people alive in order to give them the opportunity to go to rehab, to get the supports they need, to beat their addiction or address their mental health concerns. And that's what I believe in. I fundamentally believe in that. I know that we should be saving lives, and the approach that we've seen in the past of criminalizing people that need health care does not work. We also need to keep people safe, though. And I understand the importance of making sure that we've got measures in place that keep kids safe in playgrounds, and those are measures that New Democrats, of course, support.
On the auto workers plant, the Conservatives are proposing a motion where they want to know exactly how many temporary foreign workers there would be. Would you support this motion?
I need to know the details of the motion before we make a decision about that motion. I understand that that's not exactly what the Conservatives are proposing. They're proposing to open up all contracts, and I've heard serious concerns about that jeopardizing the project. What we've said our position is, one is, whenever we give public money to projects in our country, we need ironclad guarantees that will create jobs in Canada that are good paying, union jobs, and that the work stays in the country. we need those guarantees. We have seen in the past, and most recently with the Next Gen project in Windsor, that there are concerns that work is being done by foreign workers that should be done by Canadians. That is something that needs to be addressed in the strings attached to the funding to ensure that jobs are Canadian, they're good paying, union jobs, and they stay in the country.
Je veux savoir ce que vous pensez des hypothèques halal que le gouvernement Trudeau veut normaliser. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de ça?
C'est une idée qu'on doit, enquêter, comment on peut le faire, s'il y a une option pour le faire. En général, je pense que tout le monde a besoin des hypothèques qui sont plus équitables, plus justes, parce que ça coûte trop cher pour les gens. Donc, on doit toujours analyser comment on peut améliorer l'accès aux hypothèques pour améliorer l'accès au logement. En fait, aussi, on doit construire du logement abordable et sociaux. Et on a proposé plusieurs solutions pour ça aussi.
C'est pas ça, c'est que le gouvernement veut...
Concernant les campements sur les universités actuellement, est-ce qu'il faut les démanteler? Il y a certains députés libéraux qui disent, ben oui, parce qu'il y a des propos qui se tiennent là, qui sont inappropriés. Est-ce que vous croyez qu'il faut les démanteler?
En général, notre position sur l'idée de démonstration, des manifestations, c'est le fait qu'on appuie le droit. C'est important, c'est un droit fondamental. Mais en même temps, on a des inquiétudes qu'il y a une menace pour les étudiants juifs. Ils méritent d'avoir un milieu d'études, un milieu universitaire qui est sécuritaire. Et ça, c'est une inquiétude que je partage parce qu'il y a plusieurs communautés, membres de communautés juives qui ont partagé cette inquiétude. Il y a des menaces et des propos haineux et antisémitiques. Donc ça, c'est quelque chose qui est concernant. Donc, on doit protéger le droit de manifester. Ça, c'est un droit fondamental, particulièrement pour les étudiants. C'est quelque chose qu'on appuie. En même temps, on doit aussi garantir qu'on a des milieux d'études qui sont sécuritaires aussi.
Clawback amendment. This government, what's your confidence level that they're actually going to act on this? They rejected an amendment from, I believe, Senator McPherson that would make it explicit in law that insurers were not allowed to make that clawback. They said they couldn't do it, that it was a question about divisions of power, and it was left up to provinces to make those decisions. So what confidence level do you have that they'll actually take action on this?
Left on their own, I don't have confidence. But with us, they're pushing them and putting pressure on them. I'm hopeful that we can get this addressed. Like I said, there was some progress being made. I believe that the people that are getting a benefit, which is already too little, should at least know and have confidence that it's not going to be clawed back. Like, how offensive is that you're already getting too little, and now you don't know if that amount that you get that is too little is also going to be clawed back or in a way rendered obsolete or not really effectively there because of a change in the amount that you receive provincially. That's wrong. That shouldn't happen. And with New Democrats forcing the government, we're hopeful we can get to a solution.
J'aimerais juste avoir ma follow-up sur les hypothèques islamiques. C'est pas très clair. C'est pas très clair ce que vous dites. Êtes-vous d'accord avec cette idée du gouvernement de les encadrer, de normaliser cette pratique des hypothèques dites halal?
Je suis ouvert à enquêter cette question. Je pense que c'est d'analyser.
And just on the McGill encampments in English, are you saying these encampments should be dismantled? Are you saying students should be allowed to stay on? Are you concerned that there have been anti-Semitic comments made at these places?
So first of all, yes, I'm very concerned about anti-Semitic comments. That's wrong. Hateful comments, that's wrong. In general, I support fundamentally the right to protest. I support students' right to protest. A lot of our history and a lot of the incredible work that's been done in terms of raising concerns around the world, protests have been done by young people. So we support fundamentally the right to protest. We also are deeply concerned by some of the concerns raised by members of the Jewish community about their lack of safety or their concerns about their safety and security, concerns about hate speech and anti-Semitism. We share those concerns. So we believe there needs to be a way to strike the important right, protect the right to protest, and at the same time ensure that people, members of the Jewish community, are safe, are free from hateful messages, and free from anti-Semitism.
Last question. Were you initially prepared to come here today and say that you were going to support the budget, and now you're just saying you need more clarity? The Liberals have been vague on a few things. Is it in their court, or were you actually prepared this morning to say you were going to support it?
I received some commitments, and and I indicated that there was some progress, but there were some outstanding questions that I needed to answer before I could give our final decision. Thanks so much. Merci. Thank you.
On both of those things, do you need progress on both of